It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, is Brittany Fox from the Long Way to Live release. That is Long Way to Love. And, Chris, have you heard anything about this, quote-unquote, this Brittany Fox reunion?
Well, we got a bunch of press releases at the beginning, and, boy, I haven't heard a word since.
Thought they were supposed to be recording a record and everything.
They were, and remember that we had the publicist that was all set to get us Tommy Paris on the show to talk about it, and nothing.
Yeah, just disappeared.
Must have fell apart. I mean, come on, how long would it take Brittany Fox to write a record at this point?
Sure.
I mean, it shouldn't take more than a month, should it?
You wouldn't think so.
I mean, come on. So I don't know if it fell apart or what, but I have not heard boo about it since that initial flood. That one, what we have, like a month where every other day there was a press release.
Yeah, Brittany Fox getting back together. Brittany Fox recording a new CD. Brittany Fox doing this.
Yeah, doing one of the cruises or something. You know, they were doing all kinds of shit, and boy, that just went away fast.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to something from them.
I was too, but I was apprehensive because Springhead Motor Shark was kind of...
Yeah, but I think they may have learned their lesson, kind of like Metallica. Now, speaking of the Metallica, that Hardwired song, do you think that's indicative of the whole album?
I don't know. You know, that's the $1 million question now, isn't it? Because that's a 3-minute song, and they've got 12 songs that are going to be on 2 discs, which means that there's going to be some 8 and 9 minute shit in there as well. I don't know. You know, I'm not judging anything at this point, other than I like that song.
Yeah, well, it sounds like Metallica. That is a Metallica song.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, you can't mistake that as anything but Metallica.
Sure.
I like it.
I do too. I got to admit, that's the first Metallica song I've actually liked since the Black Album.
See, I don't see that it's that different from fucking Death Magnetic.
Yeah, it's the production.
The production's is definitely better.
Yeah, well, that's what makes a big difference.
The production's better. I like James swearing again. Maybe he's back off the wagon and he's drinking a little bit, which is good. I mean, it's terrible. I feel bad for his family. Not really. If he's drinking again, I'm happy because that's when Metallica was the best. But I don't know, dude. I'm excited. I mean, the minute they announced it, I pre-ordered it.
Sure.
You know, me, who doesn't buy anything. You know, I went right online and pre-ordered the advanced one with the bonus disc of like 13 other tracks.
Shh, bonus tracks.
Shh, bonus disc.
Bonus disc.
Yeah, I bought it for the show. I'll do it as a write-off.
Sure. Nice. Hail and Kill, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, I was been listening to that new Metallica record. I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not that impressed. It sounds pretty stock. I mean, like that one tune that you guys played at the beginning of the show. I heard phrasing from 4 or 5 different Metallica songs just in that one tune. It seems like they're borrowing and rehashing, what they've already done in the past. It doesn't really. I'm not hearing anything fresh, in a manner of speaking myself.
Well, they're not going to.
I'm not saying it's not terrible, but it's like one of the things that I always appreciated about them in their first 5 albums was, like they matured in their style and refined what they did from, one album to the next. And then it just seems like since the Black Album with Load and Reload and Saint Anger and everything afterwards, it just seems like they're just phoning it in and just creating product as opposed to creating art. Just to put a fucking album out and, try to, sell something or have new material to play. It doesn't really seem like they're pushing themselves artistically anymore. But that's just my opinion.
Well, I can't imagine that of all the bands out there, Metallica is the last band that needs to create new product. They fucking release and sell well all of their concerts. So, they sell the audio of all of their shows. So they don't need to do another album necessarily.
No, they don't. I agree with you completely on that, but it just, like I was hearing that one song, I was like, geez, I'm hearing a little bit of, For Whom the Bells Toll, and I'm hearing a little rip from, another song, and it's like, it just sounded like, I don't know, like like a compilation of different, like phrasing and chord structures from different songs that they've done in the past, and it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I just really wasn't that impressed with it. I mean, I'll buy it because it's a Metallica album, and that's about it. But anyway, glad you guys are back, and hail and kill, hand job, and fuck you, pal.
And there goes Scotty.
There we go.
All right.
I agree somewhat. I think it sounds a lot like some of the Death Magnetic stuff. I think it reminded me, the first time I heard it, I thought immediately of the Judas Kiss. I don't know if you even know that song, but it's on Death Magnetic. It's my favorite tune on Death Magnetic. It's fast, and it's, that's what it sounds like with better production. I mean, it's one of them things with that band, because they're always going to be compared to the first four records.
Sure.
Just like every band. Every band is pretty much compared to whatever their seminal records are. And especially with Metallica, the whole genre is compared against Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All. I mean, everything that came past it, Testament and Anthrax and Slayer and everything is compared to those.
Sure. Well, barring the subject content, I like the delivery and I like the production on this new song.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's good. I find it funny that people are comparing it to. They're saying that's a ripoff of Ministry's Warp City or Slayer's Ditto Head. I went back and pulled both of those songs. Ditto Head I don't hear at all. I don't hear how that can be compared. But the Warp City, maybe a little bit. If you got Spotify there, you could pull that up and you could give that a whirl if you wanted to. But it's on the Houses of Mole record. And
Moliere.
Huh?
I'm just making a Breakfast Club reference, Moliere.
Moliere.
And yeah. Mole really pumps my nads.
Yeah.
Moliere. I love his work.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's for a first taste. I mean, if you think about what the first tastes that we've gotten in the past have been, the last record, the first taste we got was Cyanide, which was kind of a lame song.
Mm-hmm.
The Saint Anger we got. What was the first one? Frantic.
Yeah.
But the production on that just fucking horrified everybody.
Sure.
Reload was Fuel, and Load was Ain't My Bitch. So they traditionally they have not released good songs as the first song.
Right.
Even with the Black Album, Enter Sandman, it's not the best song it's the most popular, but it's not the best.
Mm-hmm.
One of the worst songs on that record.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
Well, if this first song is indicative of the production and the delivery of the new record, I'll probably like it.
Well, it's got to be the production. I mean, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the song. So that's it's all going to be produced, you would think, in the same production style.
Sure.
Production levels and whatnot. So, and it's so hard because for me, we're Metallica, Pantera are my 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be good so bad. But, Metallica's doing all the same shit that everybody always does. And I have to keep telling myself, you know what? Don't fucking read the press. Lars is already out there talking about how this album was influenced by Kill 'Em All. And what? Shut up. Just shut up. It wasn't influenced by Kill 'Em All.
Well, isn't that what they said about Saint Anger, that this is going back to our roots?
Roots! And making something heavy.
Yeah.
Really long song.
Yeah. So what is this Ministry song? Which one is it?
Warp City.
All right, let me play a little taste of this.
All right.
Play a little Warp City. Let's see.
Wine is a mocker, strong drink is a rage, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Out in the state of Arizona, a husband and wife had reared their children. Children had married off. Families of their own. The mother took to drinking. She was 64 years of age. She came in one night so drunk she didn't know what she was doing and started to take a bath in the bathtub with her clothes on. In utter disgust, her husband said, I ought to take a gun and blow your brains out. She snarled back at him, you haven't got the nerve. Shot her dead in the bathtub. Fine way to end married life.
She started drinking wine, and then she couldn't stop. She must be out of her head. That's why she had to be shot. That's wanted.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's check out the new one from Metallica.
All right.
In the name of desperation, in the name of wretched pain, in the name of all creation, count insane, we're so fucked.
Yeah, I can see the similarity there.
Now, pull you Spotifying?
Yeah.
Pull up Judas Kiss
Okay.
and play that one a little bit.
All right. Metallica, Judas Kiss, huh?
Yeah. Either that one or even Battery is another one.
Yeah, Battery. I definitely hear the battery in that.
Hey. Yeah.
But I don't mind a band plagiarizing their own music
Me either.
because it has a familiarity to it, you know. So that I don't mind that. All right, here's Judas Kiss. Whoop.
By the way, did I send you your code?
For the Spotify?
Yeah.
Yes, I've already enacted it.
All right, good.
Yeah, we're all good with the Spotify. So thank you, Michael Abatista, once again.
Yeah, thank you so much. Another good year.
Another whole year of free Spotify.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're so influential like us.
That's right, pal.
People start throwing stuff at our feet.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Metallica. I was just going to go to the folder, but for some reason it's corrupted.
The folder's corrupted?
The album, the Death Magnetic, is corrupted. I don't
Probably
know.
you don't like it.
That's probably what it is. You're probably right. All right, let's play some Judas Kiss.
All right.
Yeah, I can see how that's similar.
Yeah, it's slower, but
It's a little, but the song structure is just a little bit different.
Yeah, and Lars's drums are the same.
Yeah. All right, and here's Battery.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that it's closer to Battery.
Yeah, hey, fine with me. As long as it sounds like Metallica, I don't care.
That's the way that I feel. Now here's Hardwired again.
All right.
Yeah, that's totally Battery.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, but the thing is, I'm glad they're doing it like that. Mm-hmm. I like the delivery and I like the production.
Much better than ripping off Fuel or The Memory Remains or something like that.
I agree with that.
Come on, they could have done, they could have done a remix of The Fixer or some shit.
Sure.
Some terrible song from Load or Reload.
Well, as you know, I have not been a fan of what Metallica has churned out over the last 20 years or so.
Sure.
And if this new one is in that same vein and in that production and whatnot, I may actually like it.
Well, they get points for the song. Boy, is that album cover shit, though. That album cover stinks. Did you see it?
I did not see it.
It looks like a bad Crowbar cover.
It's slow and fat.
No, it's that Crowbar literally did this cover already.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same as Crowbar's hard. What is it? Odd something rest.
Is it like Aerosmith just push play ripping off Autograph?
Completely. Oddfellows Rest.
Sure.
Let me. I'll give you the cover.
Hail and Kill, caller, you're on the air.
From Detroit, how you guys doing?
Hey, Big E, how you been, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I just turned on the show, and I didn't even know about the song, and I've been listening, and I think the real question here that I've been asking myself for the last couple of years is how come Mr. Newstead can lay down some killer tracks and Metallica can't?
Well, see, we've had that discussion in the past that last Newstead record was more Metallica than Metallica.
Yes.
Look in the chat room real quick, Neely.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, go ahead.
So,
Sorry,
I sort of see that Metallica thing almost as a response to what Newstead did. They were like, oh, we can do something good, too. Is it as good as what Newstead did? I don't think so. Is this Metallica better than Overkill record? Or, like, if you take, like, Armorist or something, is this heavier or better than Armorist? I don't think so. Sounds like kind of old Metallica. I think it's better than the recent stuff. I'm with Neely. Like, I think it's more like what we heard in Black or even before Black. So is it like traditional and classic Metallica? Yeah. Do I like that? Yeah. So I'm more with what Neely thinks.
Yeah, he's a Neely-phile.
What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. I when I hear it, I hear Death Magnetic and I hear the Beyond Magnetic songs. I don't think it's a response to bands that are far less. Metallica are rich corporate rock stars. The last thing they're doing is trying to say, man, we got to fucking outdo Overkill at this point. They're like, if Metallica's saying anything, they're like, please God, don't let us become Overkill and play shitty bars. You don't
think they're trying to like make as good an album as Newstead did? Because he obviously used to be in the band. You don't think so?
I don't think they even noticed Newstead. I mean,
what?
I would think that they're trying. I would think that they're maybe trying a little bit harder to out Mustaine, who put out a killer fucking record.
I'll agree with you there. That's the competition, yes.
There's no denying Dystopia is fucking great. And I don't know. I can't imagine after all the boneheaded shit that they've done where they've put the middle finger up to the fans and done it anyway, the Lulu shit, insane anger and whatever. I can't imagine that they're all of a sudden going to be worried about the fact that Anthrax is selling records, or Lamb of God, or, every one of these bands are their openers in whatever city or country they play. So I can't imagine that they're that competitive at this point. They don't give a shit.
I don't know. Maybe Eric Braverman would have some.
I'm sure we'll have Eric. I'm sure we'll have Eric on the show soon to talk about this. That's for sure.
All right. Hey, listen. Any news on like this anniversary concert or get together?
You know
maybe?
what? The thing is, it's got, and I talked about this on the show. The original the original intent of a 20th anniversary party, I had spoken with Don. My ultimate goal was to have Dokken play this thing, and I had spoken with Don about it late last year. And he basically said, if you cover the plane flights and the accommodations, and you have a venue, he says we'll do it on one of our off days. Which we agreed, and we agreed on what it would cost and all that kind of stuff. But then this whole reunion thing came up, and because of that, and because of the profile they've raised their profile because of this. It kind of put a damper on that because of being under new management. They got a new website. Chris is no longer the webmaster because they turned it over to a new management team, and they're going for the last push of their career because these guys are not getting any younger. It's kind of put it out of the realm of possibility to make this thing happen. And with our good friend Billy Morris selling his club, which we were going to do it there because he had a pretty decent setup, that kind of put a damper on it. With Chris traveling all the time, and with me, it's just so much logistics, time, effort, money, everything involved. It just kind of fell apart. So that's kind of what happened there. A 20th anniversary party would have been the greatest thing. I wanted to do it, and believe me, I was in the planning stages, but the stars are not aligning.
Okay, perhaps another time.
Well, I would hope so, and maybe we can do something, maybe early next year or, maybe next summer. I don't know, when things kind of calm down. It might be a little bit later than we had hoped, but, I would like to have some headliner play a show for us, and that's kind of where we were at. But with Chris's schedule and my schedule and the distance and no venue and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of tough to do that.
Look in your chat real quick, Neely.
Okay.
Not the chat, but your Skype.
Okay.
Would that work?
It could possibly.
That would kill two birds with one stone.
Well, if he did the his other project that we like the most,
he would.
I'm sure he would. But anyway, that's where it's at, Big E. We would love to have a thing. It's just a matter of place and time and logistics and getting it together.
Totally reasonable. I understand. Everybody's got stuff going on. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm. But believe me, we would like to have it. A 20th anniversary party would be a pretty big deal for us, and we would like to do it. But Chris had Ron Keel play the opening of his pinball place a little over a year ago, and just getting that together was a lot of work.
That was way too much work.
That was a lot of work just getting that going.
Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so and we just don't have the resources and the people to dedicate that much time to getting that done.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. All right, boys. Hail and kill.
All right, Big E.
Pal. Hand job.
Yeah, keep that flak jacket on and keep that gun loaded.
I will. Good night, boys.
All right, hail and kill. There goes Big E from Detroit.
Yeah, Big E checking in.
From Detroit.
He wants a show, man.
He does, and I would love to have a show. Trust me.
I would like to do what you're talking about, too. That would be great.
Yeah. So.
And I know that he's playing and his band guys are together as well two of them anyway are still active. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I could convince the other one, who's a personal friend, to do it.
Sure.
We'll see.
We'll see. I just don't want to do it in the middle of the winter. We know how disastrous that is.
No, we're not doing it in February. If we do it, it'll be next June.
Sure.
May, June, somewhere in there.
Right.